a lot this season. Certainly hampered them in the game against West Ham was the absence of a recognised strike. I mean, look, there are longer running issues around Arsenal having an out-and-out goal scorer, but with nobody available to play. I mean, he played Marino in that position, but with nobody available who's a specialist in that position, they did look toothless.
Yeah, we did, and we're having a massive problem with a mid-block Arsenal. But like Kels, we can't ignore the fact that as much as people might be tired of hearing the talk of a striker, it's no secret we've needed a striker for 3 years. We've missed 5 windows where we haven't had a striker. I heard an interview with Mikel, what was from January before Kels, where he was talking about, yes, we will try and get somebody if that person fits in. We're talking about a global market for Arsenal to shop in, and for us to not, especially after Saka, especially after Jesus, to still not add to a squad that's clinging on by their fingernails to a Liverpool side that look like they're coasting, getting ready to put into fifth gear. You know, to hold on to them with everything that's happened is for me, from the board, it's terrible business.
So do you think that in some ways, and even if you factor in the injuries, the type of injuries that Arsenal have been having this season, and then you factor in that there hasn't been the activity in the transfer market over the last 5 windows to bring in that recognised striker, or even a backup striker.
Even before the injuries, we needed.
So if you look at
forwards.
Have Arsenal kind of created their own problems then this season?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that what else has got to happen in the summer is they've got to get a director of football in. Somebody's got to come in like that. That's got to be one of the first appointments at Arsenal, because the business, what's gone on. When you look at, we've got a lone goalkeeper in Neto, who wasn't allowed to play in certain games, takes up a lone spot that Arsenal would have needed. And when you're looking at someone like a Villa went and found those 2 players. You know, we're going to
come on and talk
we are,
about
but just to make the point,
they've absolutely won the window.
Absolutely, they have won the window with Asensio and Rashford. They've realised what they need for that push for Champions League, and they've gone all out to make sure that happens. That's something that should have happened to Arsenal, especially with the way the season went last season and what they're trying to do this season. It's not happened, and it feels like, you know, it's for me, I don't think the manager could do any more. People are talking about the training, maybe the intensity of the training that Kells, and with a squad that is not very big, it's not very deep. Of course, that's going to hurt you, especially with some of the bad luck.
Some of the bad luck and some of the red cards that Arsenal have had this season. I mean, again, it's something that they can point to maybe as excuses, and I know a lot of Arsenal fans would feel that they've been targeted this season, or that they've been treated more harshly. It's probably a better way of putting it. But is there
some of them you won't even see again? I don't think you'll see someone like Declan Rice's one again. You know, you won't even see that. I think even Lewis Skelly's one at Wolves. Some of them have been really harsh, Kells. And I feel for the Arsenal fans because
But then there's also Lewis Skelly's one in the West Ham game, and then there are also ones where it is throwing the ball away that, you know, it's an arguable yellow, or kicking the ball away, rather. It's an arguable
yellow.
Yeah, but
which one was kicking the ball away? You're talking about Declan Rice's?
Trossard's, I was thinking.
Trossard's one was really harsh as well.
Trossard at City.
But harsh, I think harsh, but also you could say harsh, and you could also say it's a bit silly at times. Does that sound fair?
I think it's easy to say silly. I tend to think, I don't know, try and get underneath it more and go, why are they doing that? And I think because of, perhaps, I don't want to use the word desperation to win the title, but there is a real push from Arsenal, and they are so close, and they have been so close, that are those behaviours because of maybe the desperation in those particular moments that players have lost their head? You don't know, do you? I don't want to hang your hat on that, but you've got to go, why does it happen? And they've dropped 10 points from the 5 games that they've had red cards in this season, which ultimately 10 points is the gap between them and Liverpool right now.
I would probably take the red card argument more on board if they were ones where I'm thought, that's a poor challenge from you. You shouldn't be doing that. But all of them have had a little bit of like, okay, we could have done without that, but do they really need to be sending offs? That's the only thing, and that's the only thing you question. That's what the Arsenal fans question. But at the same time, Kells, we have got the red cards, so you have to deal with them. But like, nothing can take me away from the fact that this team needed strengthening, and that's what it comes down to for me. And that's why now, as much as Arsenal fans don't want to hear it, the title race is very tough for us to still be involved in.
Although, and this is where we started off, and I like to end the day with you in a good mood. So look, OK, it's 11 points. Liverpool have played a game more. They both have tricky fixtures in midweek. Arsenal are at Nottingham Forest. Liverpool are at home to Newcastle. There could potentially be a swing in that, in terms of the results. If Arsenal win their game in hand, then the gap is then 8 points. Could turn round in midweek, potentially, depending on which way they go. And Arsenal have yet to play Liverpool on May the 10th, which you can claw back another 3 points. And then, by my reckoning, that gets it to about 2 points.
Can I say
and then it's so I'm just trying to
cheer. I really appreciate it.
There are still 11, 12 games to go for this team. We are not at the business end of the season by any stretch of the imagination. It's February.
And the fact is, we still want a Premier League title to be raced, to be happening, a competitive one. But when you look at those games with Arsenal without forwards, and looking at us, what we're like with a team that puts a mid-block up, Kells, it's very difficult to make a case for us scoring goals.
I agree.
Whereas you look at Liverpool, even if it gets tight, they'll just say, activate Mo mode, activate Mo mode, and let's win this game.
Because your point would be valid.
Activate mode.
Mode Salah.
He's got that. Or he's got, like, Darwin Núñez will come off the bench, or someone, Jota will come off the bench. So they've got everything in place.
Because your point would be great if Arsenal had full strength. See, if Saka was there, and Havertz was there, and Gabriel Jesus, and they're not. And I think the way we saw them play against West Ham on Saturday is unfortunately the way.
Was sad.
Because against Leicester, it was like that for an hour
until
already.
Marino came on.
It was exactly the same game as against West Ham. They were just hopeless with the ball in terms of creativity.
Absolutely was.
And that's the problem. And that's why I want Ian to be happy too. I'm like you.
But the more you lot are speaking, the more unhappy I'm actually feeling.
Because we're putting the case for Arsenal, which is forcing you to put the case against. And it's plunging you deeper into that spiral.
You know what, it's heartbreaking, because I just feel like the manager, in respect of a coach, has coached him as far as he can, and the help what he needed didn't get. And that is what's holding him back, to the point now you're seeing Arsenal fans even being negative towards Mikel. I'm not sure what more he can do in the current
Champions League.
Fingers crossed with that, Kells, because again, we're talking about the elite of the elite, and Arsenal have got to go there. And let's face it, limp there. They've got to be limping there. Is it PSG? PSV, sorry, PSV.
We've got PSG.
You know what I mean? Again, it's a team that, in the current climate, Kells, you probably look at Arsenal, if you're PSV, in this stage of the Champions League, and feel, wow, this is a good draw for us.
Yeah.
That's where we are at the minute.
There is that 11-point gap. Even though Liverpool have played a game more, where are we, do you think? We're looking at the possible champions without a shadow of a doubt. You only have to look at the closest team to them in respect of Arsenal and what they're going through. It looks like you can't see where the next win's coming from in respect to the way they're playing. And you look at Liverpool against City, and it looked quite comfortable in the way they did it. You know, people talking about Liverpool, but they're not playing. They didn't have to. They've got it under such control. They didn't have to, and they just look. They look like champions as we sit now, and they look like a team. And you know the way they celebrated afterwards, there was a certain, not relief, but there was a certain kind of sense of, something, that was something. Progress.
Something there, there was something there, which I didn't begrudge them for.
What Slot's man management's been like this season's been unbelievable.
You know what as well, because you have to question as well the lack of injuries. And their sports science department must be doing some really good things. But again, it does feed into the fact that if you've got a squad that you can rotate, especially you've got someone like Slot who is not hammering them in training. You know, when you're listening to other people, you're talking about how people are with Pep now, how people were maybe with Klopp, how they are with Mikel Arteta, where it feels like, well, they're really training hard. You don't hear that from Liverpool, because obviously it seems to have eased down that level of intensity, and they're not getting injuries as well.
And that's what's hampered Arsenal a lot this season. Certainly hampered them in the game against West Ham, was the absence of a recognised strike. I mean, look, there are longer running issues around Arsenal having an out-and-out goal scorer.
Subscribe to my channel for more videos. Drop a like and share.